Go, Andy. Go, Andy. Go, Andy. Go, Andy. Go. Yay! What's up, y'all? Hope you're doing well, doing good. Thank you so much for taking the time to come to my channel and to check out another video. I really do appreciate you taking time out of your day, stopping by to check out something on my channel. And again, I appreciate all the support, all the views, people that are subscribing. I really appreciate you guys. I've talked about this before a lot on my channel, and there's been a movie that I've been really excited to see. I haven't seen it yet, but I do plan on going to see it maybe this weekend, or maybe by the time you guys have seen this video, I will have seen this movie. And that is Beauisafraid, directed, written, produced by Ari Aster. And I've also talked about how Ari is probably one of my favorite directors right now, currently. I just love the way that he does his movies. I love the subject matter, and I know it can be very divisive. Even his first two movies are somewhat divisive, but me personally, I actually really enjoyed Hereditary, and I really enjoyed Midsommar. I was watching Grace Randolph Beyond the Trailer, and she was doing one of her movie math videos, and she brought up Beauisafraid. The little snippet that she brought up, and this isn't about her at all, but the little thing that she brought up that I thought was interesting was she mentioned how there was a conversation on social media about how Ari signed up. A lot of his early stuff featured a lot of black actors, and people are kind of like, well, why doesn't he feature more black actors now than when he did when he was first coming up? And in a sense, I get it. I understand that sentiment. But then at the same time, my thought process is for the type of content that Ari Aster makes, while I understand that representation and inclusivity and coming along with the people who brought you here is important, I don't think black people would truly want to see themselves in Ari Aster's movies. Just because of the way that he does his movies. Imagine if there was a group of black people, or if there was one black person in Hereditary. So imagine if there was like this random older black gentleman who was in the cult, the organization of payment. When that person would have come up on the screen, people would have been looking like, huh? What? What? What's he? Why is he here? Why is he in this? Like, why? What happened? Why the brother? Why the sister? Why are they doing that? Why are they moving like that? People would have questioned it. I think people even question: is it William Harper or Jackson Harper, the black guy that was in Midsommar? I think a lot of people would probably question, "Yo, why? Huh? Why did he decide to take this trip by himself, being the only person of color? He went all the way to Sweden, and we see what happened to the people of color in this. Ari Aster's mind is Ari Aster's mind, and I'm pretty sure Ari Aster's mind is a maze, a cobweb, a spider web, whatever of insanity in there. For some reason, I just imagine that SpongeBob meme where they're running around in the brain and the brain's on fire. I imagine that type of chaos going on inside of Ari Aster's mind. But I don't think black people would really want to see themselves in the type of movies that Ari Aster makes. Or I don't think they would want to be the focal point in those movies. Again, it depends on how he does it, but if he did the type of movies that he did and black people were seen as the leads, I think it would be looked at as black trauma horror. And while Jordan Peele kind of ushered in that genre, I think the genre kind of got very saturated. It almost became they call it, I think some people call it black trauma porn or something like that, or black horror porn. If you look at Midsommar and Hereditary, if the two main female characters were black and it revolved around either a black couple or a black husband and wife, a black family in general, that would have brought up a whole lot of different conversations if the movie had played out exactly the way that it did in each of those movies. And I think you may have had to change certain dynamics, but again, that would have been a whole different conversation because just the way in which Tonicollette's character acted in Hereditary, I think if people, even though it would have subverted a lot of images, if people had saw a black mother act like that, they would have been, a lot of people would have been kind of like, I don't know. I don't know about this one. I think the other thing is, it's weird because Ari Aster hasn't worked with that many black actors. It was the ones from a very particular short that he did, and then it was Billy Mayo and Beau. And I heard that supposedly originally Ari Aster wanted Billy Mayo to be the main character in Beau, and he was kind of making a movie around him. And I think if that's true, I think that would have been cool. But unfortunately, Billy Mayo passed, so Ari Aster didn't get the chance to make that movie that he wanted to make. But again, I think the conversations would be different. I understand wanting to be included, but I think the conversations would be very different if we actually saw black people in these roles. And again, maybe he would write them differently. Going back to it, we saw what happened to really the three people of color in Midsommar. Their fate was not, it was not very, it was the one guy got it pretty gruesome. I think Jackson Harper or William Harper, his character got it pretty bad too. While it would be cool to kind of see inclusivity and see Ari Aster going to the big time with people that brought him there, but at the same time, I think it would also be something where people would look at him kind of crazy because just the way that he does his movies. Following along with that, let's say let's say Ari Aster did a full length feature. He decided, like he did with Beau, where he turned I think Beau is like maybe 10, 15 minutes. Let's say he decided to turn another one of his movies that was around like 29, 20 minutes. Let's say he decided to turn that into a full length feature. So the short that I'm talking about is The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, which is to this day one of the most disturbing concepts I think I have ever seen. And I think it became more disturbing because it was a black family, and it turned a lot of the way in which you see black families, it turned on its head. Because I think one of the things that's interesting is the black father is, that's America's dad. That's a whole nother conversation. But Bill Cosby was for a long time considered America's dad. Uncle Phil is he's in the halls of America's dad. Carl Winslow is America's dad. John Amos, for the time that he was on Good Times, he was considered one of those American fathers. You had George Jefferson. You had Fred Sanford. You had, even in the newer, you had Anthony Anderson's character on Blackish. A lot of times, black fathers are looked at as American dad kind of figures. They're like the fathers that everybody wants to emulate. Depending on how they're depicted on TV, they do things a certain way, and that's another conversation. They're depicted as the father figures, like just how they are, upstanding, strong father figures. The strange thing about the Johnsons completely kind of disturbingly turned that concept on its head. Can you imagine if Ari Aster took that short that was 29 minutes, very disturbing, and turned it into a 2-3 hour long movie? The conversations that would be had about that would be, that would set social media ablaze. And a studio giving Ari Aster the opportunity to make that, there's always these big conversations about agenda, emasculation of black men, and this and that. If Ari Aster put that short to screen, he might. If you talk, and if you want to talk about including black people in something, man, I would not be sure about that one, because again, the conversation was centered around, why are they portraying two black men, a father and a son, in this light? And that movie messed up a lot of people, because I remember when people were first talking about that movie on Twitter, and everybody's like, "Yeah, go check it out, go check it out." And I watched it. When it really started to kick into gear, whew, ugh, and and maybe maybe it's a conversation that should be had about the way in which people prey on each other, and sometimes sadly family preys on each other, and the way in which family allows certain things to happen. So maybe that would be a conversation. But it if they dropped the trailer for that, the internet would explode. I don't think it would be a good look for Ari Aster. Like, as much as the concept is interesting, it's Ari Aster's brand, but still, like, that would take things to another level, and I think he would lose. He would lose a lot of fans. Maybe not. Maybe people do want to see a full length movie based on the strange thing about the Johnsons. I personally don't. I think it would be a hard watch for a lot of people, but some people might want to see that. But again, I don't think that would work, especially because there's already divisive conversations about Ari Aster and the way in which he treats mental health. I think that would take things to a very different level, and also because that original short came out, I want to say in like 2013, maybe a little bit earlier than that. But hey, maybe I don't know. I don't know. I think that would truly be the black horror trauma porn. That would be it. Like, that would take. So what people saw in Us, if Ari Aster made a full length version of the Strange Thing About the Johnsons, that would it would take that genre to out of here, and it could either take the genre in this direction, or it could take the genre in this direction. It just depends on how it was received. I don't think it would be received well. While I understand that people want inclusivity, people want people to show up for them if they showed up for them. At the same time, I just don't think I truly do not believe that black people would truly want to see themselves in Ari Aster movies. I think they like to be like, all right, I understand this and I see it from afar, but this isn't me. This doesn't represent me, and this doesn't do that. Because Ari Aster's movies can be tough pills to swallow. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people do want to see themselves in these type of roles. I personally don't think they want to see themselves in these type of roles, because again, Ari Aster takes it there a lot of times. So we'll see. Who knows? But I do appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you think that more black people should be included in Ari Aster's movies because they were in his original shorts, even though there weren't that many, or if he should just keep doing the thing the way that he's doing. Well, who knows? I mean, Ari Aster can make the movies he wants. I think it's fine. But maybe you want to see themselves. I do appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. Feel free to check out more videos on my channel. Feel free to like, share, have conversations, talk about this video in the comments. And yeah, hope you guys have a good one. Hope you guys continue to be blessed. And see you later.